Okay, we are live. And all right, so we're going to wait for just a quick minute to see if we can get a few people on board here. And then we'll get started.
I hear a bunch of people.
Yeah, a bunch of people jumping on.
Ding-a-ding.
Ding-a-ding. All right. Okay, all right, so let's get started. Well, okay, excuse me. All right, hello and welcome to From the Director's Chair. I'm your film host, Shannon, CEO and founder of Film Fave. Film Fave has quickly become the place where you can talk shop about all your favorite films from the film fan to the filmmaker's perspective. So guys, I have a very special guest here with us, and we're going to go ahead and just very quickly play our intro.
Shop keeps my head hung low. The time called power gets me out of the hole. A quick change rear keeps me in the game. Watch out tonight, 'cause we're gonna play.
All right, guys, that was the Psycho DeVilles. They are very good friends of ours, and they are our theme for this evening. We try to sponsor bands and bring them in and tell other people about them, and you should check them out. They're a rockabilly band. They're great here in Georgia, so awesome. All right, so guys, today we have a very special guest visiting us from the director's chair. He hails from California, and he is the director, producer, and is most commonly known for Pick It Up, Ska in the 90s, and he's here to life, the story of the Refreshments, but also more recently, the Last Blockbuster. So that's exciting. Hey, Taylor, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, considering.
Right.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. This is a wonderful day to, here in Georgia, we're having some beautiful weather, so it's nice. How is it in California?
Here too. I am not actually really from California. I'm not sure where Google steered you wrong there. I'm in Oregon. I've lived in Oregon most of my life. I was born in California.
I think I saw a documentary or something. I think it was reading something. That's where I got it.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty much a native Oregonian. I've lived here most of my life, off and on, but I'm in Bend, Oregon now, which is home to the Last Blockbuster.
Awesome. Yes. Actually, yes. I'm actually from Sacramento, California as well. So that may be why I picked up on it. So
yeah. I was in San Francisco for the early years of my life, and then moved up here for junior high. So.
Oh, that's awesome. It's a beautiful place. It really is beautiful. So guys, you might recognize The Last Blockbuster if you've been scrolling through Netflix recently. Congratulations, by the way. The Last Blockbuster is a documentary on the last remaining Blockbuster video located in your hometown, Bend, Oregon. So we walk through a nostalgic story of blood, sweat, and tears of store owner Sandy Harding and her quest to keep the memories of us film geeks alive. So, so everybody, please welcome film director and producer. I've already said that, Taylor Morden.
Yay!
Yay! Everybody, Taylor, wow, man, you have had such an accomplished career. Very successful, might I add. Now seeing all your films, you have a real talent for storytelling. Has documentaries just always been your thing?
Not really. I started with documentary because it seemed easier. I've done narrative shorts, and I'm itching to make a narrative feature, but I also know it takes a lot of people, to make a narrative feature, even a short. You need actors. You need some more crew. Documentary, a lot of days filming these things, it's like 2 or 3 people total in the crew. Yeah. So just from a practical standpoint, it seemed like something I could just do without asking for permission, without getting some movie studio to pay me a bunch of money to hire a bunch of people, I figured, I had come out of sort of the corporate video and commercial space. I shot a ton of weddings and a ton of real estate videos and all these things that are documentaries. I mean, they are, for all intents and purposes, a corporate event coverage video is a documentary of a corporate event.
Right.
So I guess that's how I got it in my head that I could make a documentary, because I felt like I had made a bunch of these little 2-minute documentaries.
Wow, that's awesome. I feel like I've been in the same realm right there, because I've done a lot of corporate stuff as well, and I can see how you naturally fell into making documentaries. That's really interesting. What was that one thing in your life that gave you the filmmaking bug? Like, what made you say, wake up in the morning and go, okay, I'm going to be a filmmaker today?
That's interesting. I didn't really get that bug. I've been a failed professional musician for most of my adult life. Failed, quasi-successful. I toured a bunch and put out a bunch of records, and music took me a lot of places and did a lot of great things for my life. And so music was always my main focus. And what that meant as a young person who didn't have a lot of money was that I was never going to buy a video camera. I was going to buy a guitar. I was never going to, spend the time learning filmmaking when I could go learn how to play the drums or something like that. So also in school, it was always either or. Like, you got one elective and you could do music or art. So I was very artistic, but I only ever got to do music, and that's great. So in high school, I went to a very small high school, very close to here in the middle of nowhere, 16 people in my graduating class. That's how small. I can name them all if you'd like, but
that is really small.
But that gave me the opportunity. The school, which had maybe 100 kids total, had one video camera, like the big VHS, put it on your shoulder, full-size VHS tape. This was the 90s video camera that you could check out for projects.
Right.
And I was fascinated. I had never had access to a video camera of any kind, but loved TV and movies. I'm a pop culture nerd. I was raised by the television for a lot of years. Like, if I had homework that needed it, I could take it home for the weekend. Right.
That's cool. That is really cool.
All of those projects were video based. I was doing like book reports as a video, or, a report on Egypt. I would film all the teachers in the school dancing to Walk Like an Egyptian, cut that together. And when I say cut that together, I had a VCR here and a VCR here, and you'd push play on one and record on the other and pause.
Back in the old days, yeah.
And then this was pre-Premiere One.
Yeah.
My school got a copy of Premiere One my senior year, and I was the only one.
Wow.
I set myself up with an independent study video production class, which was just me and this old computer that had a video capture card, which meant you could plug the VCR into it, and it would get you a digital video file that was like 320 by 180 or something that you could edit in Premiere 1.0 and then export back out to VHS, which was the peak of, it was the first time I ever experienced nonlinear editing. But because I was so focused on music and not like this video thing, when I left high school, I didn't have a video camera. I didn't have access to any of that. And I was playing in bands and touring and doing the music thing. So
ska too, right? You got into ska music.
I'm a trumpet player. So yeah.
I used to be a trumpet player too. That's yeah. So, and I love ska. I was really big into No Doubt when they were ska. You remember back in those days? So
I do. It's in the movie. I don't know if you've seen my documentary, but we did get to sit down with Tom from No Doubt, and he explained how they used to be ska.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. And I didn't get back into film proper for like 15 years, maybe, because I got a job out of college doing Flash animation. Like when Flash was
Macromedia days, the
Macromedia Flash. And then I would do those annoying splash pages that you'd have to skip intro. That was my job.
So did you know action scripting too then?
Oh yeah, I could build you a sweet Flash website that would, need a very specific browser to operate.
That's
So my
great.
bands always had very cool websites. I say cool, but they were annoying now.
Played music video and stars and lights everywhere.
Yep. Yeah. If you hover over this mouse button, a song plays, and then this
Yeah.
person pops out from over here, and it's super fun.
Yeah. They were
And
big.
then-
They were big back then.
Yeah, it was the whole internet for a long time, and it was a good job. It allowed me to work from a tour van and do that.
That's cool.
And then when Apple killed Flash,
Yep.
right around the same time that DSLRs were getting good,
Mhm.
and I had always kind of dabbled in music videos for bands I was in, and I had learned Sony Vegas for music recording,
Wow.
but it can
you're
also
talking-
do video editing, right?
Yeah.
So I was very comfortable in that platform from recording songs. So it was very easy for me to transition into, okay, I'll get a cheap DSLR, a Canon T2i at the time was the cheapest thing you can get, like $250 used. I have Sony Vegas. I guess I'm a videographer now. Hire me to shoot your real estate, your weddings, your commercials, your music videos. And I did that for a long time. And then I moved back here to Oregon from Washington, D.C., and there wasn't enough work here. It's a small town. There's not a lot of people who need commercials who are willing to pay or whatever. And there were a lot of established video companies here.
Yeah.
So I thought I could make a movie. I asked my wife if I could, live off of the savings from shooting weddings for 1 year and try to make a movie. She said, okay, but in 1 year, if it doesn't work, you have to get a job.
Yeah.
A real ass Best Buy job or whatever. And that was now 5 years ago, and I haven't had to get a job.
Wow. That's amazing. What a good story.
Thanks, I've been practicing.
And you even talked about Premiere One. I remember those days. I actually jumped from Premiere to Final Cut, and then moved back to Premiere, and then After Effects, and then that just became this smooth transition. Do you love editing? Is that kind of like your thing now, or you enjoy it at all?
I like editing. I've done editing work for other people, which I don't like as much as editing my own stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fast at it. I've since switched to Resolve. I love editing in DaVinci. I can't stand Premiere. I never went, but after I was on Sony Vegas for 2 decades, I had to do my first feature I did in Sony Vegas.
Yeah.
The whole thing, exported the master file. The second one I had to move to Premiere because I was working with other people, other editors and things. And I hated Premiere so much. It would just be so
I remember the rendering stories, like all the rendering you'd have to do. And I swear I could probably make a full course Thanksgiving meal in that time.
Yes. And then it would crash at the last second and you'd lose the whole thing. So that was annoying. And then before we finished the Last Blockbuster, I switched to Resolve. And I think our editor was using Premiere, so we had to do that import into Resolve. But you have to do that anyway for your colorist. So it's it's like a no-brainer. And now I'm, goes from the camera into Resolve, and it never leaves.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe the audio people do something in another program, but for me,
Resolve's the thing. I've heard a lot about. I mean, I've dabbled in it. I haven't had a chance to fully get into it yet because it comes with the Blackmagic camera, right? So and I have one, and I heard that color graders love that program, and I need to learn color grading. I'm not good at it yet.
I'm terrible. I'm actually colorblind. I rely on other people for help with color grading. Like I'll do something and be like, this looks good. And I'll show it to my wife and she's like, why are people's skin green? I didn't know.
Right. It's funny because I'm dyslexic actually. And so whenever I'm writing screenplays, everybody tells me, oh my God, what were you even talking about here? So it's neat to be able to overcome challenges in our life like that to build a really good film, because I can't imagine being colorblind and truly trying to really feel what your film needed to be with color,
Right. Well, it's not severe. It's a mild color blindness. So I can tell I'm good with bright colors. So I tend to like brighter colors in the things I do.
Yeah,
Everything should be very bright and colorful because then I can tell what's blue and what's green.
yeah.
Like anything that's muted, like anything, we're watching like Handmaid's Tale, and it's like
Good
I
one.
can tell the reds are red. Everything else is gray to me
Yeah.
because
Wow.
it's all like low contrast, low saturation.
So I'm going to share just a couple pictures while we talk real quick of your career.
I hope they're embarrassing as heck.
Oh yeah, they're the greatest. Like I think there's just one of you in the bathroom. Let me make sure I get that one.
That's my favorite.
That was creepy, wasn't it?
How'd you get that picture?
I talked to your wife.
Oh man.
All
My
right.
director's chair swivels, by the way. That's why
Oh, nice.
I look like I'm.
I
not paying
got
attention.
a swivel chair too here. We're gonna swivel together. How about that?
What a party! Oh, look at me! I won a trophy.
Yeah, look at you. See, you're successful. You have a huge career. I'm excited about it. Look,
That's a better
in
trophy.
a Blockbuster. Yeah.
I have that one right here.
That's great. I love the fact that you're sitting here holding like a little model right there.
Mm-hmm.
What was the model about?
We went into Blockbuster, and there was this guy. He's a local school teacher named Mark, and
Yeah.
he makes the Blockbuster here is very local, community oriented. Everything is locally sourced. Their T-shirts, their everything, and he makes the refrigerator magnets that are the Blockbuster symbol, and he hand makes them.
Yeah.
And they sell them in the store as refrigerator magnets. So he's in there all the time delivering. Oh, I made 100 more. Here you go. And he was in there one day. And we were just in there filming for whatever. And he said, would you guys want me to make a model of the store? And I'm like, you can see all this junk around me. I love stuff.
Figurines. Yeah,
Like,
me too.
All my movies could have action figures. That would be the best. But
We need an action figure Sandy Harding. See what she says about that. That would be cool.
yeah. I'm not working on that. But
You should tell her.
yeah, but he said I could make you a model of the store, and we didn't know what we would do with it, but my gut was just like, yes. And he showed us a picture. He had done one, I think, of the library downtown, and it was amazing. It looked just like it. And it's made out of like styrofoam and paint and
Right.
glue and stuff. So we said, sure, go for it. And it took him like 6 months to make that thing. But
Chrissy says that man must love his job.
Mark, who makes refrigerator magnets for Blockbuster? I bet he does. Yeah, so he made us that. And then we worked it into the movie kind of to justify the fact that we had paid him to make that.
We have a Blockbuster fan that said, let's show that one. The last one. There you go. Blockbuster mom was the best.
Yeah, Sandy is the best.
She is. She was such a sweet person. You know what? Let's actually get on into that. You know what? I have just one question though. We love here to hear. Words are hard.
Hey, words.
I know they're the hardest. Can I just do this and you laugh at me? See, it works. It works. Okay. So we love to hear stories about unique experience that you have on set. Do you have any funny or cool stories we get to hear, or anything that's happened on your films?
Oh man. I mean, like my head just goes to all the times that things didn't go well. And those aren't fun. That's just like, oh man, we flew all the way to California and Adam Brody didn't show up. That's not a fun story. I don't know. Like fun. It's always fun. Like, I don't know. It kind of all blends together. I've done 3 documentaries, and between them, it's like 125 interviews or something.
Yeah.
And then a boatload of B-roll. I mean, I guess the fun days are like when I just get to go to a concert and film concert footage that I might use for B-roll or not, or,
It's funny. That's actually what I do as a hobby. I love to go to the Psycho DeVille's that we showed to you earlier.
oh, nice.
And I love to film bands and stuff like that. Tomb Tones are a good one. Slim and the Gems, they're all they're rockabilly bands. I'm into the rockabilly music these days. So
I like rockabilly.
yeah, then you need to pick them up because I'm going to send you a link to them because you'll love them.
Sweet.
Angel wants to ask you, what's your favorite moment in one of your shows? Oh, well, that's kind of what we just asked. So, but
I mean, in the finished product,
yeah,
I gotta say, for the Last Blockbuster, and all the credit goes to our brilliant editor, but the Lloyd Kaufman segment, if you,
yes,
you know what I'm talking about.
yes, I know what you're talking about.
What I love about it, what I love about it is that when people talk to us about the movie, anybody who's like cool and weird and like a film nerd or into horror movies or stuff, they always bring up the Lloyd Kaufman bit.
Yes.
It's their favorite part by far. And then anybody who's like, you know, a fair weather blockbuster, like, oh, I remember that. That was fun. Like they'll relate to something else, and that's also great. But the people who love the Lloyd Kaufman bit, I know we're gonna be best friends. It's a good time. Uncle Lloyd is the best. Yes, Jason.
So funny. Well, you know, speaking of the Last Blockbuster, let's go ahead and play that trailer real quick. What do you say? And then we'll get into that.
Sounds good.
You know what? Just real quick. Let's see. We got another one that just popped in. I want to tell you that the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, Lloyd signed a Toxic Avenger poster for me at his house because we were geeking out and, you know, asking about movies. We were like, do you have like anything you could sign, like trauma related? Because we're actual fans. And he goes upstairs and he comes down with like a full size Toxic Avenger movie poster, like a vintage real one.
Yeah.
And he writes on it, your movie is going to be better than anything Troma ever did. And then didn't sign his name.
Whoa.
So I have like a not autographed Toxic Avenger poster that Lloyd wrote on.
I would like cry a little bit.
I love it. I don't know if he didn't sign it on purpose because he signed something for the camera guy, but it was hilarious.
Even the story of it's pretty cool. You know, that's fascinating. That's awesome. All right, well, let's go ahead and play that trailer real quick. The Last Blockbuster, which, guys, you can watch that on Netflix now. So that's very exciting, by the way. All right. No.
In a world where video stores have all but disappeared.
I mean, look at the James Bond section. Every James Bond movie. Every Avatar movie, because, you know, there's just the one so far.
I hate late fees, but I understand that you have to do it, otherwise people just keep those videos. I know I did.
Meet Sandy, the Blockbuster mom.
So when I started in 2004, Blockbuster Video had roughly 9,000 stores and over 60,000 employees. And now...
Do I miss renting from a physical store? No, absolutely not.
So funny.
I don't think anybody does.
We just need Pacific Video to send us a notice that they are exercising their fourth and final renewal option. So yeah, that kind of scared me a little bit.
I mean, how long until companies don't even make DVDs, period? And then I don't know what.
Did you know that Blockbuster had a chance to buy Netflix, but they didn't?
Now that, to me, is crazy.
It is truly the last standing bastion of a bygone era.
Hey, that's cool. You know, that the last Blockbuster in existence is right here in my hometown.
If there's some cats in Oregon still scratching it out, you know, with Be Kind, Rewind, nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful.
Wow.
That's a good trailer.
It is a great trailer. I love
who edited that.
Chrissy said, that's amazing. She's so jealous.
You'd have to ask him, but not high. I mean, it's a valid question.
I think it's all legal now in Oregon, isn't it? Or is it just that? Yeah, it's all legal.
Oh yeah, last election, they decriminalized all drugs,
Good for them. I think that's great.
all of them. So you can, smoke whatever you want.
So, the last box, bleh, I can't even talk today. Really?
That happens to literally everyone. We've done a ton of these interviews, and Last Blockbuster is way more of a tongue twister than we intended. I didn't realize it would be so hard to say, but
well, I wonder why that is. It's
the L's and blah blah blah, last blah blah blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
You can just call it Blockbuster. I'll know which one you're talking about.
Our own Blockbuster language, and then we'll just right. Okay, now you know you're a ska player. Are you a scat man too?
I am not.
No, no I'm not. So the last Blockbuster actually truly made me feel like a kid again. It reminded me, it was so nostalgic that while watching the movie, okay, this is stupid. I remember everybody's got these moments, right? So when I watched it, it instantly, my mom has passed. So my mom used to take me to the Blockbuster, and I would run in there and I'd grab her card, her little plastic card, which was so tore up in her wallet. And I just remember it being creased and cracked, and I would play with it. And I ran to the new release section. I even remember the color of the carpet and the smell. You mentioned the smell and the sound of opening that case, And listen. It's beautiful. What is it? Yeah. A true film geek like us would really understands that, and you really totally brought me into that space. And I'm like, wow. And I even remember finally getting to the new release section, and if it was there, because a lot of times it wasn't there, right? And then I would run to the front and I would try to fight the lines, right? I grabbed my snow caps and my popcorn and I checked out. And, that was once or twice a week we'd have the movie nights. And it was so great to be put back in that experience. And I believe my sister even worked at a Blockbuster. So, yeah, so it's kind of exciting. I'm even wearing the Blockbuster blue today.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
I like it. That's really great. That's, I think, my favorite part is working on this movie for the past 4 years is when people we interact with, whether it's for the movie or not, people like you, everybody has a story like that.
Yeah.
And it makes people feel good to think back to these. It was simpler times. It was in a lot of ways it was better, I think. But it's like you said, it's about all the people we talk to, celebrities, fans, just everybody in my life who wants to tell me about Blockbuster now. It's never about the movie that they were renting. It's always about who they were with. My grandmother used to take me, or my dad would go and I would get to pick out one kids movie and he would pick out some dumb Western. And then, those were the stories we would get.
Yeah.
And it really helped shape the movie for us. As we would hear these stories, we realized that it was about the experience, that it wasn't about the wall of new releases. Even though you mentioned it, you don't remember what the movies were. You remember the carpet and the smell and the candy and going there with your mom. And that's what we all resonate with. And that, that came about. We started thinking, oh, it's going to be great. We'll talk about late fees for 15 minutes and people will be like, Blockbuster was evil. But what it turned into is everybody had these experiences, and it's so universal. That was surprising to me too. We're film nerds and we loved the video store, but everybody went to Blockbuster.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the film nerds. And for some people it was like, oh, I hated having to take the movie back and it was annoying, but there was still a warm, fuzzy feeling of going there and picking out the movie in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think over time, the positive has kind of drowned out the negative.
Yeah. It's I remember the day that they started closing all the stores down. And I remember also hearing a story about people trying to save Blockbuster. And it was crazy to me, but I felt the same way. I felt like this huge I got to do something. And I have to ask you, the library guy, is that Hugh Grant?
The library
The
guy?
guy in the library looking thing with the books all behind him. He's sitting in the little stool in the corner, and he's kind of. I didn't see him credited or in when I was looking it up. So I was trying. It looked like Hugh Grant, so I wasn't sure if that was.
It is not Hugh Grant.
Okay, forgive me then.
Library guy. You mean the businessy guy?
I think so. He had a bunch of books and stuff behind him, and he was standing in a towards the end, I guess. It was funny.
I wish I knew what you were talking about. I don't know Hugh Grant. I wish I knew Hugh Grant.
But I'll tell you who was in there was Kevin Smith and Brian, and what was it like working with those guys? I'm a huge fan.
It was awesome. I am also a huge fan, and my partner on the movie, Zeke, is also from the comedy world in LA, and that's part of how we kind of knew some people. But I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of movie related podcasts and things, and that's sort of how I knew that Paul Scheer had worked at Blockbuster, and I knew Sam Levine was a giant movie nerd from Doug Loves Movies. I knew Doug Benson loves movies. Kevin Smith cannot stop talking about movies.
Right, that's his whole.
He's turned talking about movies into a career.
Yeah,
great. So
Clerks was about a video store.
Yes, which is why he was on our list from the very beginning. Him and Tarantino, who did not want to be in a Blockbuster movie, but they famously.
Feet. You would have had feet there. You would have had.
We had feet. We didn't think about offering him feet. No, he was literally making Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at the time when we were reaching out.
Excuse me.
Did not have an hour to spare.
I apologize. I have allergies.
That's okay.
The trees have been playing with me.
Yeah. But it was awesome. I mean, imagine if your job for the day was to talk about movies with Kevin Smith, because that was my job for one day, and that was a great day.
Wow. I mean, the legal behind all trying to get these people in, and that must have been a huge undertaking, because, and I can't imagine.
Yes.
You had all the music and the commercials that are playing in the background. I mean, you had everything, and to spend 4 years on it. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it does take. There are more lawyers in our credits than any other film-related job. If you notice, if you watch the credits,
I'll watch the credits. I was looking for
lawyers.
We had one person jump in and said the guy with the heavy British accent was the guy I think that we thought was Hugh Grant.
There's a guy in the movie who has an Australian accent.
Oh,
and it's Darren Hayes from Savage Garden.
Oh,
I guess he could be confused. Yeah, he was another podcast movie guy who came up working in video stores, and we were introduced to him very early on. And he's just a lovely, lovely man. I enjoyed talking to him about movies. He's a huge Star Wars fan. We filmed a whole bit with me and him, going through all his Star Wars toys. I should put that out on YouTube or something.
Yes,
but
please do, so we can share
make the movie. But yeah, Darren Hayes from Savage Garden.
Yeah.
Popular 90s pop duo.
Now that you say that, I recognize that that's probably what it was. I don't know why I thought it was Hugh Grant. Please excuse me.
No, we'll go with Hugh Grant. He's a little bit more famous. No, but Darren is a lovely, lovely guy, and I prefer his company to Hugh Grant's already. I know.
Yeah. You had a lot of. That's true. You've had a lot of celebrities in this. So I have another one. So let's talk about the irony of Netflix. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. So it's already on Netflix. Can you tell me a little bit about how that came about?
Yeah. Zeke and I, my partner on the movie, the first meeting we had where I pitched him this idea that I think we might have one of the last blockbusters and somebody needs to make a movie out of this. We had this conversation, and there were two things that we thought we needed to accomplish. One, we have to get this movie finished and on DVD so people can rent it at Blockbuster. that's full circle, right?
That's
And the
of
second
course.
thing that would be the most amazing, ironic, hilarious thing would be if we then got the movie onto Netflix, who everybody thinks put Blockbuster out of business.
So you had this plan.
Those two goals were in the plan from day one. Now, it's not
Wow.
easy to get an indie movie on Netflix.
No.
It is nigh impossible. And we tried a lot of things. You know, you can't just call Netflix. I've tried. They don't answer. And so with my first two movies, my first two movies, I self-released, self-distributed, DIY, punk rock, sell them out of my garage. There's boxes of Blu-rays right over there through that door. So I was very familiar with that. And I was like, if no distributors want this, I know we can get it out there. I know people will like it. But as we were finishing the movie and reaching out to distributors, there were people who were interested in releasing it traditionally. This was after COVID hit, so no theatrical component really, but like, you know, some people made some okay offers and they were like, we think we can do something with this. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
We had seen the store blow up in the press. Every time there was an announcement, okay, now they're the last one in the United States. Huge press splash, like everybody cares. And then now they're the last one in the whole world because the one in Australia closed. Giant.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. When did they close? Recently or?
No, that was while we were making the movie.
Oh, okay.
But they, you know, they were the last one in America for a full year before they were the last one anywhere. So they got a lot of press every time it would come up. So we knew, you know, all we have to do is tell people there's a movie about it. That'll be a press cycle. And that was great. And then if we can get it onto a streaming platform, that's hilarious. That would be a press cycle. We didn't know it would blow up like the way it did as like a meme trending on Twitter and Reddit and all that. That was the internet doing what the internet does. And I love it. But I mean, the long and short of it is we got on Netflix through our fantastic distributor 1091 who, you know, pitched it to Netflix, you know, because they do get through on the phone and they can get through. And sometimes you have to do things the traditional way. Ironically, Netflix did pass initially. They did not want it. They said, I don't know, it's weird. It doesn't work. I don't know. I wasn't there for the call. But they told us Netflix passed. Other people were interested. So we were fine. And then a week later, Netflix called back, like as if Netflix is a person who makes phone calls.
Yeah, right.
The person
Hi, this is Netflix. How are you?
Right. Well, in our movie, Netflix is a puppet. It's a But they called back and he said, you know, I had dreams about it. It's too perfect. We need to put this movie on Netflix.
Wow. Dreaming about your film. I mean, what is that? What does that say to you? It's like
that it stuck with him, right? He's like, no, not right away. But then days later, it keeps popping up and you're having dreams about how great it would be to put a blockbuster movie on Netflix. And we're lucky that person, whoever they are, had that foresight, because then when Netflix made the announcement, it went crazy. Like I couldn't believe the amount of press and the buzz and everything. And everybody thought Netflix had made the movie, like out of spite. They were talking about Netflix makes movie about Blockbuster. It's like spitting on the grave of the enemy. Hilarious, not true. Hilarious.
And you're kind of like, almost angers you a little bit because you're like, no, dude, that's not what this is about.
No. All press is good press. Nothing angers me. The bad reviews make me just as happy as the good reviews.
Good for you. That's good.
Spell my name right. I even love, there were a handful of articles where they did no research and thought Kevin Smith directed a documentary about Blockbuster for Netflix. Those are my favorite articles. I'm going to get those tattooed onto my back.
Oh my God.
But I mean, who cares? The movie makes some people happy. Some people don't like it. That's fine. Whatever. Some people think Netflix made it. That's fine. I don't.
Yeah. I think it's it's I don't know how to explain it, but I was so excited for you when I saw that it went on Netflix. And then when it blew up with the memes, like my favorite one was the meme you shared with the guy that shoots Blockbuster, and then and you were like,
Yeah.
So it's so funny.
I love it.
Because it's like, it really is a true irony. So
It really is. I mean, if you've seen our movie, you know that Netflix didn't really put Blockbuster out of business. It was a string of unfortunate coincidences, but Netflix was there for it and they benefited from it for sure. Yeah. And there is a lot of irony in them, even showing our movie to people is an ironic thing for them to do.
Yeah. I think it's funny though that to know that Blockbuster had a chance to buy Netflix. And I actually did not know that until I saw your film. And I don't mind saying it out loud because it's in the trailer too.
No, we give it away in the trailer because that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing, that hooked me. I didn't know it before I started making this movie.
Yeah.
And I heard it from a lot of people and everybody was like, yeah, I can't believe it. And it like basically happened twice and they kept going and it just never, and it's like a lesson. I mean, you could almost interpret it as like Netflix is now in the position Blockbuster was in back then. They're the top dog, right?
Yeah.
And there's all these new streaming services coming up.
Yeah, they are.
I'm sure at some point Netflix had the opportunity to buy something that is popular now that we don't know about. Like they probably passed on an Indiana Jones movie or something,
Right.
They lost The Office recently. That's a mistake, probably. Yeah. I don't know. Businesses make mistakes. I make bad movies. It's whatever.
No, you don't. I'm always reminded of a quote as change is the one thing that stays constant, and it constant. So if change stays constant, you don't prepare for change, there's a good chance you won't succeed. So just always keep a lookout for changes and adapt to them. And if you don't adapt to them, then what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So
put all your money in Bitcoin
or Dogcoin. What was the other one? Dogcoin?
Yeah.
GameStop?
Yeah.
Not a
Blockbuster
sponsor.
stock got a little bump from that too. We were in the news.
Really? Oh, that's funny. That's actually a good idea to start that.
There is still it's like a Blockbuster holding corporation that I don't know owns the debt, or I don't understand how stocks work.
No, I don't either. But I have Bitcoin stock, half of one or a quarter of one. I think it's
what is that? $2 billion worth of Bitcoin?
I think it's $11 right now, 52 cents, and it's actually worth I think 52,000 per Bitcoin.
Dang, I keep all of my money in vintage Star Wars action figures.
Oh, that's a great idea. I have.
They're going up.
They are. I have an original from a good friend of mine, Darth Vader, actually.
Nice.
Figure from the Kenner one.
Yeah.
So I have one from the original. That's the only.
I have mine from when I was a kid, but it's not in good shape. The lightsaber's all broken. The cape's gone.
Oh, look, my sister's online. This is what I told you. That works on. She is the one that works at Blockbuster, so that's exciting. Or
she does not work at Blockbuster now.
Not now.
I would know her.
Yes, you would know her. Okay, all right. Well, we're going to start closing up here, but I wanted to really quick share. You mentioned COVID, and I know that this released during COVID, right? And I saw it at that you had a whole drive-in, which was premiere, which was admirable, by the way. You are big about safety, and I watched that, and that's awesome.
We did. We turned down a lot of theaters that wanted to screen it when we didn't think it was safe to do that. That's just personal. Zeke and I were very cautious. It's been a rough time seeing everybody's different interpretations of what's safe and what's not, but we always erred on the side of extra safe. And so that meant drive-ins only and virtual theaters and then digital release. If you had told me in the 90s that I would grow up to make a movie about VHS tapes that played at a drive-in theater I would have believed you because there still were drive-in theaters at that time, but
Yeah.
at no point since then would I have believed you. And it was very surreal. What a lemonade out of lemon situation.
Right, it really is.
To be like, we can't do. My favorite thing about making movies is watching them in a theater with other people.
Me too.
Try to put
devastated.
Yeah, I try to put laughs in there, and you hear a room full of people laugh at one of your dumb jokes.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. That is the whole reason that I like to make movies. It's certainly not so that I can afford to pay my bills. I do different things for that. But the drive-in thing was weird because it didn't feel good like the theatrical experience.
But let me tell you, I saw pictures of people with couches in the back of trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, Taylor, you are amazing.
Well, I didn't bring the couches. They brought the couches.
No,
it was a cool
I know
thing.
you didn't do it. But the fact that you created this event just the fact that you brought everybody together to still have that theatrical experience of your premiere, which you could have very easily have rented a theater and put everybody into a small situation. You know what I'm saying? And
we were lucky because there's a local a film, I don't know what you call it, but they run the film festival. They're like Bend Film. They did the pop-up drive-in all summer, and they showed a bunch of movies, but we partnered with them to do the world premiere because we knew so much of the movie is about this town, and the local press cared about it 4 years ago, and everybody here loves Blockbuster. They're very proud that we have the last one in the world. It's like on the city tour. If you come visit, you take the bicycle tour. It's like, here's our Blockbuster, here's our historic brewery. That's what we've got.
That's cool though.
So we knew we needed to have something for the town, like an event.
Yeah.
And I think we ended up selling out like 4 screenings at that drive-in because it was one of the first events people could go to here. And it was definitely worth it and cool, but what a weird memory that's going to be because it was, I was still having like social anxiety. It was the first time I had left my house in 6 months or something.
Yeah.
And I went to that thing and didn't feel safe leaving my car, but I had to. We did the Q&A via people would text their questions and we would broadcast to their radios with a microphone.
Awesome. Well, speaking of COVID, when the world went on lockdown, you came up with this absolutely brilliant idea to have families in quarantine to choose from 88 scenes of Back to the Future 2. And in fact, this is when we met, which my family was very happy to be a part of. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to real quickly share that.
Sure.
And so that people can get an idea of what this was, because this was something that is very, very special. All right.
More of me talking.
More of you talking. Hey, you're good at it, though. You're a lot better than me. You want to start? Actually, you be the co-host.
I can say Last Blockbuster.
You're hilarious, dude.
I am none of the above. You got this trailer or what?
Yeah, it's coming right now. Hold on. Here you go. All right.
This is Project 88. Oh, no beard. Started talking to other filmmakers and creative people about something we can do to take our minds off of this that would give us a creative outlet. What we came up with was, let's remake Back to the Future Part 2 using whatever we have on hand while we're all on lockdown. I split the movie up into 88 scenes, put it up on a website, and started assigning the scenes to people. The amount of creativity we've gotten from this has been incredible. We see people animating, we see people making puppets, a lot of people are making their own music, a lot of people are acting for the first time. We see a lot of families getting involved, young people acting, running cameras, editing video for the first time. It's really cool. A lot of people ask why Back to the Future Part 2 and not Back to the Future Part 1, and the answer is very, very simple. Hoverboards. The best part about it is people telling me after they finish their scenes that it was the best part of their week, or that they were able to take their minds off of all this craziness for even just a few hours. Whether anybody watches our finished movie or not, it was worth it just for that.
Great Scott! This is heavy.
As of right now, we have about 75 scenes finished out of the 88, and we're just looking for a few people to finish it up. And we're gonna put it up on YouTube and let everybody watch and laugh and enjoy what a bunch of creative people from all over the world did with their free time.
That was so much fun.
That was a good trailer. Who edited that?
Oh, I don't know.
I got jokes, guys. I got all the jokes.
Yeah, you do. At least you're a comedian, and you could film host the show. I can't even talk still. Here we go. Here's my toy.
Aww.
I remember this one. Of course, you probably saw 20 million of them, but
I did see a lot of them. I made mine out of cardboard.
yes, and I loved it. I actually have your scene here, and I thought it might extend too long, but I like that must have taken you a long time because you remade all of the. You know what? I'll share it while we talk. How about that?
Sure. Yeah, I ended up having to do a scene. I wasn't going to originally, and then there was one scene that people kept dropping out for. And so as the deadline approached, I ended up just doing it myself. And all I had was cardboard and hot glue and did stop motion. But I think it came out pretty good. That's a good cardboard biff. Cardboard manure. But my favorite was the cardboard DeLorean.
Yes. I can't imagine. Did you cut yourself doing this?
If my wife asks, I did not cut myself doing this, but of course I did. And the hot glue burns were pretty bad.
That was so good.
Doc, is everything all right?
That's my best Marty impression. I do still have the cardboard DeLorean. I kept a couple. I kept the flux capacitor there, the hoverboard, and the DeLorean, but I recycled the rest.
This is awesome. Look at it.
Fire is real.
Wow. I'm like, this is so amazing.
Stop motion. I had done a music video a few years earlier that was all stop motion with action figures. So I knew, if it's just a minute or so, it's not that hard.
So how did you do? Is the fire fake?
The fire's real. I made a bigger one and burned it, and then just slowed down the frame rate so it would look like stop motion. And then that's just a candle inside of the cardboard.
Wow.
For the wide shot.
That's cool.
That's the candle.
Oh, that's smart. Look at that.
And then that's the real fire. Man,
that was so great.
That feels like 5 quarantines ago.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I don't have any questions for this one. Here's what I wanted to say to you. Let me remove this out of here. All right. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart because we got COVID and we kind of kept it private and then it went on anyway. That idea kept everybody safe and everybody sane and everybody was scared. And as a matter of fact, when we were going through our scene, we did the puppets and it was so funny. Matter of fact, we constantly go around the house whispering, automobile accident all the time. So my thing, I'm almost kind of speechless. It's hard for me to say because that moment of spending time with family, we all helped in that, make the puppets, and it was a big part. It helped us stay together and not worry about the fear. But during one of those scenes, we had 3 ambulances drive through our neighborhood with that very night. And we knew what they were about because we live in an older neighborhood. So, and it was just like, and it was just kind of took you back to this experience of that time. And actually we're coming on the anniversary of all that. So, well, it is the anniversary of all that. So that's the thing I wanted to tell you was thank you so very much. That was just very awesome. You helped us, and that's why I'm so grateful to you for many, many things. So I hope to see that.
Thank you for participating because I I did it. It was totally selfish for me to just like, I wanted to work with people. I was going crazy, not leaving the house, and I needed that sense of community. And it was the best part of it is stories like yours. But then, like, you and I have been in touch over the internet for the past year. I made like 100 new friends from that,
Yeah.
and I needed them this past year. We were also pretty impacted by COVID here, and it's the things I'm really hoping that 10 years from now, when we look back, we're going to remember more of the Back to the Future cardboard activities and less of the ambulances.
And yeah, you know what? I honestly, when I look back at that time, I remember that. So, and I think if we hadn't have had our mind pulled from that, we would have been in a different state on that day. Yeah. So, thank you very much. Actually, my husband's right here, and he's saying, "Yeah, I know, right? You didn't think you would cry. I'd like to accept this Emmy Award."
I make comedy puppet movies about Blockbuster Video. It's not a deep thing, so I'm not used to it.
No. Dude, I seriously cried in there, but I cried everything, so that's not saying much. But still, I try.
I teared up a little bit at your story about making sock puppets, so we're all guilty.
Well, okay, one last question. Are you ready for it? This one stumps everybody. I want you to think
I've been thinking about it this whole time.
You probably got one for me then. All right, Taylor, what is your ultimate film fave?
All right. So I'm going to qualify this because I'm going to qualify this, and that all of my favorite movies are parts of trilogies and therefore are disqualified from being a favorite movie. That being said, my favorite movie that is not part of a trilogy is the Tom Hanks classic, That Thing You Do.
Whoa, that one takes you back. Yeah. Wow.
Being a musician, being a 90s kid, being a fan of happy, nostalgic things.
Yes.
For me, that's the pinnacle. It's the one where if it's on cable, even though I own a VHS, a DVD, a Blu-ray, and a Laserdisc of it, I will still watch it with commercials, edited for TV.
Yeah.
Every time.
Wow. Man, that's funny. I actually could see that about you. I'm
that kind of lame movie nerd.
Hey, man, have you seen my back wall? I too am one. That's right? That's why we are here. All right. So it's getting late. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Oh, hold on one sec. Oh, okay. We have a question. What project do you want to work on next? We'll make that the last one.
Yeah, I don't really know. You'd be surprised when you have a hit documentary on Netflix, how many people pitch you their great documentary ideas. So far, none of them have stuck. It's been a COVID year where I haven't really been working on stuff. I've been working on like scripts, hoping that I might be able to make a narrative feature. But I think having a documentary go viral doesn't make anyone want to give you money to make a narrative feature. In my experience, if you're out there and you're watching this, my Venmo is no, but I would love to make more movies. I just don't know what or when. So, in the meantime,
Film Fave and our family will support you in anything and everything you do. So you just let us know and we will get it out there. We'll get the word out there for you, whatever
we got to do something fun for the 1 year anniversary of Project 88.
Yes.
We should do another live screening so we can all remember. We should do like a YouTube live stream.
That's a good idea.
Can somebody else set that up?
You know what? I will do that.
We should go back in the group. I don't know. We have to look up what day we all watched it. It was in April, I think.
Yeah, I think it's coming up April 10th.
That sounds right.
Yeah, because I think I was looking back at when it came out and I was looking at the articles and stuff. You know what? Film Fave will get in there and we'll see if we can set that up.
Let's do a thing. We'll get as many of the original people back together to sit in a chat room and watch the thing we did a year ago.
Oh, I love this idea. All right, let's do it. Okay, guys, I have to say goodbye to Taylor. I'm sure he wants to get home to his family, or he's in.
This is my home. I live in this little box now.
I squish your head. Anyway.
Thanks so much for having me on this show. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Anytime, Taylor. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to go ahead and do our closing. So, guys, if you love documentaries as much as we do, or if you love, hey, director Taylor Morden, please make it your film fave. Bye, guys. See you next week. All right. And here. That's all right, though. All right.
A quick change really keeps me in the game. Watch out tonight, 'cause we're gonna play.
We are out.
And we are done.